Hey Mom, can I have a quarter? Hey, Fragorn here with another Path of Exile. Not really a build guide video. This is going to be more like a compilation of builds I haven't even played yet. Just looking at the patch notes gave me some ideas for things that I think will probably work. You can safely make certain builds to do certain things to fit your playstyle with the five that I have in here. So I'll be bouncing back and forth between my little trees. I didn't even do this in POB. I just did it on the planner just to give people an idea of things you can look forward to in the new 3.26 league and expansion. And let's get to it. So I'm going to start off with a goofy one. It's a Juggernaut. Again, my third build guide of the day, and it's kind of a Juggernaut. I guess this isn't really a build guide, but... So what prompted me to think of this build was when I read through the patch notes, there was a line in there that said something about support gems. Let me see if I can find this. So many things. Okay, here it is. Arcane Surge, big buff, gives you more cast speed. It's very nice. Spell Echo, really nice buff. This is the one that really made me think about this. Cheaper and removes the 10% damage penalty. So Spell Echo got itself just basically a 10% more multiplier, and it's cheaper to use. So that's always nice. I don't really care about the cheapest because I solved that with the Golem stuff. Where are the Golems? So right here, huge Golem stuff. A lot of my builds are going to use Golems now because they're so strong. The ones that really got my attention were Flame Golem. Big boost to their overall damage. Big boost to their area of effect. And Lightning Golem. Big boost to your attack and cast speed. And huge boost to mana regeneration while you have one active. So a Lightning Golem can solve all your mana problems. Let's take a look here. So, my Juggernaut. What I did with this goofy build is I think I'm going to spam Ball Lightning self-cast. And the reason I picked a Juggernaut is because of this ascendancy right here, Unyielding. It's a nice flat damage bonus. This coupled with your Flame Golem also gives you massive area of effect. So you get 36 area of effect with the 6 endurance charges you'll have with this build. And then you're going to get another probably 40 from your Golem because you're going to get some increased buff effect from your Golems from the tree and maybe a cluster. So you'll have big area of effect. We're looking at almost 100% increased area of effect right there, which is very strong for Ball Lightning. The longer your Ball Lightning stays over a target, the more it hits it. So if your Ball Lightning is bigger, it hits it more times. It's very simple. It's just a more damage multiplier. So area of effect becomes a more multiplier for Ball Lightning skill. The rest of this is pretty cool. I'm going to not be able to be stunned because when you're self-casting, being stunned is terrible. So he solves that. Juggernaut's so good. Got your free and bonus endurance charges. So I'm going to take 2 on the tree, have my 3, and 1 from this is 6. And then I'm going to use the body armor doubled to get my extra tankiness in there. So why I'm not taking life regen is because this build's going to be focused on a Watcher's Eye jewel, and the Watcher's Eye mod that you're going to want is life gained on hit while affected by vitality, and you can get that from like up to like 20ish real easily, and usually not that expensive. You would not have that on a league starter, obviously, but just a cool build concept. So when you have that Watcher's Eye, you're going to hit a ton with your Ball Lightnings. It's going to go, and every one of those is going to give you big life gain on hit. So that's your recovery. Otherwise, you're just taking more life, and we're going to go block. We're going to get as tanky as we can be. So tons of block nodes. They're right handy for us right there. A little more armor, a little more life, crit reduction, jewel socket, extra endurance charge. Probably need a little dexterity. We don't have to worry about it on gear so much if we take this because we're going here anyway. We're going to reduce our mana cost of skills as much as possible. And I may drop this depending upon how strong that lightning golem is and how much he's alive. If he stays up fairly easily, I won't need any of these mana reduction nodes. Extra block for a spell. A little more elemental resistances. Very nice stuff. More life. More flat LE damage. Extra exposure. A little more area of effect and area damage. Spell damage. Elemental damage. More life. More mana reduction. We'll see if we need this. Maybe more sensible to just come here and down and skip all this reduction. More spell block. Probably use Tempest Shield too, so my guess is we'll hit 60-70% chance to block spells and attack very easily. Like I said, we're going to have 2 golems for sure. Oh, I didn't finish that part of the build. Yeah, definitely going to drop this and go with 2 golems. There we go. Now we got 2 golems. Golems are going to be a little bit tankier because they have extra health. They're going to regen a little health. Very strong, all good stuff. Any increases to minion damage are going to affect us as well, so we'll have that. No crit. A little more mana reservation, a little more effective arcane surge since it's even stronger. It's very good. Like I said, mana reservation. More block chance. I just threw all these masteries on because they might be good. I don't know if I'll take them all, but seemed fine. Work our way up through here, get elemental overload because we're not critting, but we will crit enough to proc it. More lightning damage for our ball lightning and cast speed. Lots of cast speed. Lots of cast speed. And then with our lightning golem, we'll have plenty of cast speed, plenty of free lightning damage from lightning and fire golem, and these extra effect of buffs from our golems. So that's the build, a non-crit Juggernaut super tank, 6 endurance charges, tons of block for spell and attack, just general Juggernaut strength, probably get some good armor on our body armor, probably a armor ES base with a lot of armor, get a bunch of chaos buffs, keep your resistances capped, probably get your chaos close to capped, stun immunity, action speed immunity, freeze immunity, all comes from this, so very nice. Auras probably run zealotry, maybe determination, something like that. Get distinguish on your gloves as a eldritch implicit, and you're pretty good for ailment immunity, or at least pseudo ailment immunity. And then just stand still and spam your ball lightning with spell echo and whatever else you end up using for sports. But it's going to be cool. I would probably link it with elemental focus, spell echo, elemental focus, maybe inspiration just to help you proc elemental overload. I don't know. And keep the mana cost down even more. Whatever else is good for it. You could even throw AoE in there. You could throw added lightning damage in there. It's not the best one for it, but it's decent. So anything like that. You just don't want to use controlled destruction because it shuts off your elemental overload so badly. And then I would use a totem or a brand. You could use either one. Penance brand of dissipation or storm brand linked with overcharge, and let that be your shocker to play shocks. So chuck that on the guy and have it go shock away with nice big shocks. Probably get you 16, 17, 18% chance to shock. If you put it in a totem with arc, it'd be even bigger because arc can hit harder. So nice way to just throw something on bosses, apply a bigger shock, etc. Booster damage. I don't think the damage is going to be massive in this build anyway. It's just not designed to be. It's just designed to be insanely comfortable and unbelievably tanky with massive defenses and great recovery from that Watcher's Eye. So it's just a concept. I've never played this build. I don't know if anybody's ever played this build, but with the strength of golems, I thought maybe see if you can work golems into a Juggernaut caster. Just clown around with the giant AoE. So be fun. Anyway, that's that one. Build number 2. Let's see what I got here. All right, this is an Ignite Archmage Witch. You'll see a theme here, another golem build. So the way you would do these ascendancy points for an Ignite Archmage Witch, this will now give you 2 golems, and golems are immune to elemental damage. They'll all be right there, so you do not need to go up here to get your extra golems. So take this first slab, you'll get your 3 golems out of it. Work your way up into here, and you get your 4th. You'll have 4 golems instantaneously with 100% increased effect of your golems. 20 effect, 20 effect, 40 effect, and then quality on them is another 20%, so that's 200% increased effect of your golems, and that's flat out massive. Where's the golems again? So like your lightning golem, 10% increased attack and cast speed would become 30. 7 to 18 mana regen. 18 mana regen would become, what's that, times 3? That's like 50. Some 54. Mana regen, massive. Crazy. Your flame golem, 30% increased damage becomes 90. 20% area of effect becomes 60. So just huge buffs. You get your Chaos Golem, gives you massive 40-ish, 45-ish percent damage over time multiplier, because it's 16 times 3, so 45%, 48% damage over time multiplier, and caps your chaos resist, gives you almost 51, I think, unless my math is bad. Yeah, 51 chaos resist right there, just from this guy. And your, where is the stone golem? Here he is. He gives you the life regen, which is a lot. Doesn't say what it is here, but it's high. And then it's tripled from the effect. And then 60% increased defenses, armor, evasion, energy shield. So just massive power from those guys. So using the golems, 4 of them, and all their buffs. I don't know, maybe Bastion of Elements is a good way to go for just being more tanky. You're going to want Ignite, because you probably use Arc. Ignite Elementalist, it's always been a fun skill, easy to play. And then the exposure buff gives you big mana regen too, so you get even more mana from this. You're going to have massive mana return. So we're going to go with Eternal Blessing, just run 1 or a buff. We're going to keep all of our mana unreserved and have Mind Over Matter. Stack as much intelligence on stuff and mana as we can with this nice one. Ignite to inflict, go faster, so you get 20% faster here, is very strong. I like this 1 fire mastery for explode, just because it's, when it pops for clearing, it's nice. It's not reliable, it's kind of like the chieftain one, but I don't know, for 1 point I threw it in there. You might not want to. More burning damage, fire damage over time multiplier. Probably throwing a cluster drill setup here with like burning bright or whatever the heck it is that spreads your ignites. More damage over time multiplier. Elemental overload's very good when it's up. Mind Over Matter for making us more tanky, because we're going to stack mana and use Archmage. Big mana wheel here, big mana wheel here, big mana here, big mana here, and a bunch of masteries. I like the Recover Mana when you use a guard skill, damage recouped, reduce cost, and chance to recover mana when you use a skill. With all that going, you should keep your mana fairly high. Also taking the mana reductions here, so pretty good stuff. More damage over time multiplier here. Another big mana wheel. Very nice. And then a little bit of keep our golems alive. So we're going to use spiritual aid with regen minions and just a little flat elemental damage, which all affects your ignite. More golem regen, so our golems are going to regen a lot. We don't want them to ever die, or at least not very often. A little more flat elemental damage, a little more mana reduction of skills and extra mana. So we'll probably hit with cheap gear on day 1 or 2. 3, 4, 5,000 mana relatively easily. Once you have mind over matter and that. Probably run Malevolence Aura. Maybe Purity of Elements. Switch to Malevolence once you get better gear. Oh, another big mana wheel here. So lots of mana. I love the Agnostic. We won't stack any energy shield. While we're not in full life, so anytime you take damage, you sacrifice 20% of your mana to recover that much life. And if you have a lot of mana, like 5,000 mana, that's 1,000. Bam. So you take a little damage, bam, you get 1,000 life back. 1,000 life back. And your mana recovers super fast because your lightning golem is kicking it up to you. All your mana masteries are kicking mana back into you. You'll have Arcane Surge kicking mana back into you. Just tons and tons of mana recovery. Oh, another life regen and mana regen wheel here. Plenty of that. Probably throw that one in there too. More mana, more mana, more mana. So, very easy build. Keep the golems alive with these. Period of elements will really, well, your golems are immune to elemental damage, so that won't even matter. Big exposure, so you're going to be reducing fire resist by a lot. Probably curse flammability. And then just use Arc and Archmage. So, Archmage. What else is a good one for that one? Probably burning damage, swift affliction. I'm not sure that one works with it because it doesn't have a duration tag. Maybe efficacy, unbound ailments, all of those. All of those will work good. Deadly ailments. So all that stuff will do the trick to make your ignites work good. Just the regular stuff you do to scale an ignite build. There's hundreds of guides out there for them. This is just taking it with elementalist because of all the golem buffs. So that's build idea number 2. All right, number 3. Okay, Hierophant, Inquisitor. Totem guy. Totems always work, and they did not get nerfed at all. The Hierophant stuff that got nerfed was for the Hierophant Archmage Kitava's Thirst Helmet build. But totems are just fine, and looking at the patch notes, another thing popped out to me on Skill Gems. It was called... see if I can find this one. It's the channeled lightning skill, not divine ire. Oh, flame blast of cruelty is one of them that caught my attention, but it's not kind of how I built this around. But this got a big buff. So what happened is it has a little bit slower cast time. Mana cost went up a little bit. Got 0.2 per stage, which is much bigger. Huge increase, 220 more spell damage per stage, up from 165. And quality provides even more spell damage per stage, so with 40% on top of that, it's 260% more spell damage per stage, and I believe there's 10 stages. So you're talking about, bam, when this Flame Blast of Celerity hits, it would pound. But that's not the one that really got my attention. The one I'm looking for is Lightning Tendrils of Escalation. Okay, so it has a base cast time of 0.35, so it did get a little slower. Mana cost went up a little bit. Doesn't really matter for a totem. Now has 290% effective addedness of damage at top level. Previously 150, so that's almost double. 2858 max at level 20. Previously was 1633. So huge boost to effectiveness of added damage, huge boost to flat damage, a little tone down of cast time. But with totems, you don't care about cast time quite as much. So this is the one I was thinking of working into the build. So back to my hierophant tree, very simple. You take the free power charge, endurance charges, arcane surge, like I said in the previous Juggernaut guide, was buffed massively, so you get even more out of your arcane surge. You'll definitely use it anyway, so grants you a bunch more spell damage. And then totems, you're going to get your extra totem here. More placement speed is awesome for totems. And then 5% more damage per totem. I would guess you'd have 1 free one, 2 from this, 3 from that, and then 4 from a shield that says +1 to maximum summon totems. And then theoretically you could use multiple totems in there if you wanted to. I usually don't with my totem builds. I usually have a second totem link with the Searing Touch totems that have 3 already built into it, and then I link that with multiple totems, so you get 5 more totems from that. So you'd have 4 that really do damage and 5 that buff it. So the 5 would give you 5% more damage per totem, is another 25% more damage. So you'd have 45% more damage per summon totem from having the 9 totems. Also gives you way more regen and way more life. You might not want to mess around with 2 types of totems, then just throw the multiple totems into this 6 link in your, use the soul mantle. Obviously it's the best. Use the one with the curses, the jewel that gives you something flesh or something it's called. It's the jewel that gives you more damage per curse on you. Soul mantle curses you. You just have to work out a way to get less effective curses on your gear. I think you can get it on jewels really easily. Some belts maybe have it. There's lots of ways to scale that up. Anyway, the Transcendence Lightning, whatever the heck it's called. Lightning Tendrils of Escalation. Just seems like a really strong skill and really good to use with totems. So other than that, it's your basic totem stuff. You just come out and get a little LE damage. I'm going to use, surprise, surprise, golems again. So I took a little bit of keep them alive nodes, and minion damage scales my damage, so all this benefits me. Life, keep your totems alive with a couple of nodes here for resistances and totem life and placement speed. Ancestral bond. We are going to go crit, so taking crit here. We're going to go mind over matter because we get so much regen. So we're not going to reserve too many auras. We'll probably use some and hopefully have like maybe 1,000 mana unreserved just for a bonus. And if you find that this is making it too squishy, just dump it. Don't use it. But I like it since we get this. You and your totems regenerate 5% of mana for each totem. So you get massive mana regeneration. It's nice to use it as a defensive layer when you can. You could reserve none of your mana too and just go with Eternal Blessing and then have a big health pool. Be way more tanky. Whatever you decide. Lightning buff, totem crit buffs, cast speed buff, power charge buff. You're going to have 5 at all times because of this combination right there. 1 minimum, 1 maximum, and the 4 from here, so 5. Very nice crit stuff. Like I said, golems, you're going to get your golems. Probably use the same flame golem and lightning golem. Crit. A cluster jewel. With totems, you're going to need at least 1 cluster jewel with at least Sleepless Sentries on a medium totem cluster jewel. It gives you basically permanent onslaught for casting totems. You can't not have it. It's too good. More crit, etc. So very simple build. You can do this with anything you like, but the two skills that popped into my head that seemed cool that got big damage buffs were Flame Blast of Celerity and Lightning Tendrils of Escalation. Both of those seem really good. So I don't know if I'll play this one or not, but I might, and it might be cool and fun. Okay, that was 3. Here's 4. Champion got a nice buff, so we better look at the patch notes again for Champion. I think Elementalist and Champion got the biggest buffs. Trickster's still very good because he didn't get much of a nerf, and Juggernaut didn't get touched, which is awesome because Juggernaut's the best. So, this is super good. The old 15 fortification is gone. It's back to your maximum fortification. So at League Start, we will have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 fortification at all times just from taking that. Just from taking that ascendancy. Very good. The second node behind it is this one. It doesn't just give you and your allies fortification. It now gives you 3% more armor and evasion per fortification above 20. So for us, that's 6. So 3 times 6 is 18%. So that's like a mini determination and a mini grace just for this ascendancy. Also giving you 18% increased attack speed per fortification above 20. There's a handful of ways to get more fortification from gear. I think there's a replica amulet that can give you a bunch. It's kind of a pain in the butt to use, but it can do it. There is a set of gloves that can give you up to 10 maximum fortification. Endgame stuff, you would be shooting for one of those for sure, if not both of them, because fortification is just going to be constantly on you. And if you get 10 from the gloves, and I think it's equal to your endurance charges or something from the replica amulet. So say you get 6 of those, you would have 20, 30, 10 from the gloves, 6 from the trees, 36, and 6 more from endurance charges is 42. So if you're 42 fortification, that's almost half your damage reduced. Plus, you do have the 6 endurance charges, which is another 24. You're looking at just enormous, insane damage reduction. So, all good. This one got a nice buff. The worthy foe now has you taunt on hit, so it's combined. It's not making you take 2 points there. And then the other one is stuff to make your banners go up, but I'm not messing with those. So onto the build. See what I'm talking about here. This was 15. It's now 20. This is junk. It now is the percent attack speed, more armor, more evasion per extra fortification over 20. So 6 to start with. 18, 18, 18. Very good. Master of Metal is an option if you want to go physical and do Impale, you don't. You use this, I think. I just love that. Other things are if you don't want to go physical and go Impale, you can obviously take First to Strike, Last to Fall, and get Adrenaline. It's fantastic. Adrenaline is 100% increased damage, 25% increased attack, cast, and movement speed, and 10% physical damage reduction. You probably have to use Petrified Blood and some other little pokey reservation clicker to trigger this every 20 seconds, but it is only every 20 seconds. It's not maddening during maps or anything like that, like some of the surgeon thing from Pathfinder where you have to click your health potion every 5 or 6 seconds no matter what. That's terrible. Like I said, this got buffed, so this is rolled into this. This is all one node now. So you're going to taunt enemies. You're going to taunt enemies. You lose all the 10% damage taunted by you, deal less to other target. That all goes away. This has just 100% chance to taunt on hit, and taunted enemies take 20% increased damage. That's like just putting a nice shock on an enemy without shocking. And if you're shocking, even more if you're doing lightning damage. Lightning Strike's still a strong build. It got nerfed, but it's not dead. Lots of other things. So, and then taunted enemies cannot evade your attack. So if you're doing a fast hitting something or other, I'm actually thinking about the Blade Flurry buff, because Blade Flurry got buffed pretty nice, like almost a 80% damage increase, I think, something like that. It's very big. So I used to love that skill when it was really strong. I haven't played it in years, but I loved it. So thinking of going really quick rapier sword with Master of Metal and taunt on hit. You barely need any accuracy because as soon as you get one hit and they're taunted, they can't evade your attacks. So you don't need to stack any accuracy at all. It's awesome. So my thinking with this build is, since you get the 18% more armor and evasion from this, you also would run grace and determination and have just huge armor and evasion increase, which means you use perseverance, which is the belt that gives you flat attack damage for the lowest of your armor or your evasion. If you get 50,000 of each, you get like 200% increased attack damage. You could scale this way higher very easily with just really maxing out your armor and evasion on your gear. There's a sword called Dream Feather that has really good attack speed and really crappy crit. I think it's a 5% base crit, but it's like 1.85 attack speed or something, so it's quick. It's a nice little one-handed sword. It doesn't have the best physical DPS, but it has a line on it that says something like blah 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 increased attack damage per X evasion. So if you're scaling evasion and armor to buff your perseverance, the Dream Feather would work off your evasion as well. Master of Metal gives you 1,000 armor, so you get more flat defenses there. So that's a possibility. I will probably not use the Dream Feather sword unless I got the Forbidden Flesh and Flames from the Slayer that gives you 8% crit for all weapons, bumps your bad 5% crit up to 8, then making your crit very easy to scale. And that's usually a cheap Flesh and Flame combo, so that would be a possibility. Anyway, the build focusing on armor and evasion to use the Perseverance belt to make buff our damage. We're going to take these. Normally I path around, but why not take it? It's extra life, it's extra armor, it's extra attack speed, it's all good. Extra armor and evasion, extra life. You guessed it, extra armor, evasion, extra life. Endurance charge, more frenzy charge. Gonna get our mana leech and life leech out of this one. 10% instant. We will have permanent onslaught from perseverance because we always are fortified. If you're wearing perseverance and you're fortified, you have onslaught too. So we want to increase the effective onslaught. Get more armor and evasion during onslaught. Probably could take these two for just more armor and evasion. No reason not to, but we'll see if I need them. A little mana reservation, a little spell suppression, a little more spell suppression and life, and then I'm going to go swords and probably crit. If I have the Dream Feather and the Forbidden Flame and Flesh, that'll be perfect for crit. If I don't have the Dream Feather and I don't have the Forbidden Flame and Flesh, I just use a rapier that has a high crit roll, or a one-handed sword that has a high crit roll, and do my Blade Flurry if that's the skill I go with. You could literally skip Impale and take this instead, or buff your auras even more. Use an axe and go Volcanic Fissure Snaking. It's a great skill. You could still play Lightning Strike. There's lots and lots of stuff you could do. I'm just kind of thinking physical and Blade Flurry right now. I love this mastery. 8% chance to get a frenzy charge when you hit a unique enemy. That keeps him up all the time. You use Blood Rage to keep it up during maps. More life, endurance charge, energy shield, more crit with melee. Physical mastery, if I'm doing physical, this one's fantastic. I just love this one because you get 50% chance to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, and you get 50% chance to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. These 4 points basically make you have 100% armor penetration, which is nice. Very big damage bonus. Plus, they're just good physical attack damage. More mana reservation for your auras. You're definitely going to want to run Grace and Determination, like I said. More crit notes for swords, and then another big chance to impale on attacks. So, you get 20 here, you get 30 here, and then I believe the Impale gem is 60% chance. So you'd basically have 90% chance to impale with minimal investment. Impale's just nice extra bonus damage. Here's your more fortification stacks. Here's your more life. Skills cost life instead of mana is very nice to keep your mana cost down. Just a little mana mastery and more reservation efficiency. Keep your mana cost down. A little more armor. more endurance charges, more melee crit. Grab these rage nodes. For 5 of them, you get so much. So, or 4 of them, excuse me, you get so much. Get rage on hit and 10 to maximum rage, which I think puts you at 30. So when you're at maximum rage, it's 30% more damage right there. Then the intimidate enemies while you have rage, and that's any rage, even 1, makes them take 10% increased damage. So that's 10% more damage right there. Pop over here around the corner, grab another physical wheel. It gives you a chance to crush enemies, which probably doesn't really matter because we're already reducing their physical resistance to 0. But just 40% increased physical damage, more damage, more damage, more damage. And then I love this master here. 40% increased physical damage with skills that cost life. Well, we do that and that to make our mana cost cheap. So lots of physical increased damages around the tree. Lots of crit. Plus we're going to get a ton of increased attack damage from the Perseverance Belt. And maybe the Dream Feather if we end up using that. So that's my Guardian melee build. Like I said, you can customize it however you like. Just change the weapon type from sword to something else. Dump the Impale if you want to go with elemental damage. Like I said, Volcanic Fissure Snaking is fantastic. Wouldn't take you much to get over here and grab Avatar of Fire to convert all your physical damage to fire. You could use axes instead. Crit axes is pretty easy. I think where's the nice crit stuff for axe? There's a two-handed one right here that's fantastic if you want to go two-handers. Big accuracy for two-handers and then a big crit multiplier. There's some more crit for axes instead, so if you want to use axes, you don't have to go all the way over here for the sword stuff. You'll be playing armor and evasion basis, so you should be able to get plenty of suppression on your gear, and with a handful of nodes, probably could cap suppress very easily. So it's just an all-around good melee build right now. Champion's just a super strong ascendancy. You can do whatever you want with it. It's going to be good. You'll like it. You can shoot bows with it. Yeah, you could use it as totems again. It used to be a great totem build for Toxic Rain, and it's better than ever for that. Yeah, it's just all around very good. Totems for all kinds of stuff. You could stack mana and use Pescador's Vigil and use totems. Get your extra totems here, and use Power Siphon of the Archmage and get just big flat damage. Use Pescador's Vigil and run 6 totems. Woma's for Quiddle Helmet. There's lots of stuff you can do with Champion. Got very strong. Oh, what's my last one here? Oh, it's another witch. Oh, this is just a crit one, I think. What was my thought with this one? Oh, this is the Void Battery build. So I thought you got the great new buff to Elementalist's Cold, Shaper of Winter. So, loses the effect of cold ailments you inflict with hits. Highest is cold, so that doesn't matter. Chills from your hits reduce action speed by 15 or reduce action speed by a maximum of 40. It now causes chilled enemies by your hits lessen the damage they do by half of the chill effect. So if you're doing a 30% chill effect, you're giving yourself a 15% enemy damage reduction right off the bat, which is really strong. Enemies chilled by your hits have increased damage taken by chill effect. So that's like a 30% shock because of chills. So that, along with the Golem buffs, which I already talked about in the other build, and that, have all 4 Golems, Chaos, Life, Chaos Stone, Fire, and Lightning for attack, cast speed, buff, mana recovery buff, increased damage buff, AoE buff, life regeneration buff, global defenses buff, chaos resistance buff. The damage over time won't matter as much. For this one, it's just any spell you want to cast. We're just stacking crit. We're taking our crit wheel here, more life, more power. We're going to get all 3 power charges from the tree, so we'd have 6 total. Get a void battery, maybe 2, get up to 8. Use this big buff for your damage per power charge. Damage per power charge. All very good. Oh, and then I guess I'm looking at brands because I see I got the brand stuff allocated. So do a 8 power charge penance brand, a dissipation build, or whatever else you like, but that's the one I like. So you get lots of brand duration. The longer penance brand of dissipation is attached to an enemy, the more its damage amps up. So you get all your brand duration right there, lots of it. And then make them crit and make them crit harder. I like brand attachment for my mastery with brands. It's very nice. I'd have 5 brands total. All very strong. You don't use a cooldown. You don't use a brand recall with penance brand dissipation because you don't want to ever pull it off of anyone. You want to let it expire because it does most of its damage in the last few seconds of its ticking. It's a ramper. It gets 20 stages, and as it gets, it's mediocre damage at stages 0 through 15, but 15 through 20, it's hitting like a Mack truck, and at 20, it's probably got another second or 2 to stay ticking at that. So look for cast speed on gear. Pop over here and take this cast speed right there. Nice bonus to cast speed. Very good. You can work your way down here and get cast speed and crit chance and crit multi. It's a nice one. All the brand stuff right there. Focusing on duration and damage. And keeping our golems alive again and buffing ourselves with this. So all this is nice minion damage. It all comes to us because of spiritual aid. All the power charges. Get a little tanky with as much life and junk as you can get. And just run brands. Penance brand and dissipation sucks terribly for clearing. I don't know if the huge area of effect buff you're going to get from Heart of Destruction. So convergence is when you hit an enemy. Every 8 seconds you gain 30% more elemental damage. So half the time this is up. When you're not hitting unique enemies as in your mapping and just fighting rares and magic and normal monsters, you have 60% increased area of effect. So you'd have huge brands from the fire golems giving you 60. Convergence is giving you 60. That's 120% increased area of effect. It's very big. I don't know if that'd be enough to make Penance Brand feel good as a clearing skill. What I do know is it's easy to swap 1 gem to make this work. Actually, no, I take that back. It'd be 2. So you'll have Physical to Lightning linked with Penance Brand Dissipation because it's a physical gem, and that converts half of its damage to lightning. You throw in that Physical to Lightning, it's all lightning, so it's much better damage being all lightning. You can see I take the 2 curses, so I'd be cursing something like lightning resistance or whatever the heck it's called. Shock, I can't remember what the name of the curse is, but the curse lightning resistance. Maybe Assassin's Mark is the other one. I don't know. Maybe Elemental Weakness is the other one. Whatever's better. I'd have to play around with them. But you convert it all to lightning with that lightning to physical to lightning support gem. So you'd swap 2 gems out. You'd take your Penance Brand out. You'd take your Physical to Lightning out. You'd swap in regular Storm Brand. It's your flat lightning skill. Doesn't use any physical conversion, but doesn't suck as a clear skill. It's a fantastic clear skill. And then 1 other blue support gem to replace the Physical to Lightning. Get to the boss room. If I was fighting map bosses like in tier 16s and I had this build set up with gear, I would just kill him with the Storm Brand. It might take 5 seconds instead of 2, or 10 seconds instead of 5, whatever. Who cares? I may only ever use the Penance Brand of Dissipation for big bosses. It's a great bossing skill. It hits like a Mack truck. It's so good. So lots of stuff you can do. You can use Energy Blade to convert your damage into your energy shield into damage if you have a lot. I'd probably play Inquisitor if I was going to do that, but this looks so all-arounder good with the Golem buffs. Easy to make crit. Void batteries just popped into my head. You get a bunch of power charges. You scale the damage off the power charges with the void batteries. Run around with some brands, and brands are easy and safe, and your golems are going to keep you a little more defensive, and that's all there is to it. I didn't even worry about spell suppression or block or anything. I'm just going to play brands, which is a safe playstyle, so my defense is moving. I'm going to not get hit. So as long as you're not sleeping and not paying attention, you'll die very, very rarely with this build. You'll have great life regeneration from your stone golem, chaos resist, AoE damage, cast speed, mana recovery. It's all so good. So is that build number 5? It is. Well, I don't know if this has been too beneficial or not. It's just me putting some thoughts together this morning after reading the patch notes yesterday. Whipping up these 5 goofy little trees quick and focusing around. As you can see, I'm really excited about golems. Really excited about the champion. So this league should be super fun. Plus, every one of these guys is going to get a mercenary, just like good old Diablo 2. You'll have your javelin spear dude to kill the boss that can only be damaged by holy spells or whatever the heck that thing was from back in the day. You can set your merc up to fill in gaps where you're weak. So in this kind of character, I'd probably find a tanky merc. Hopefully somebody who's got a taunt or something like that, because I'm going to do plenty of damage and he can pull heat off of me. On the some of the others, you might want a merc that does more auras or something. Anyway, there's going to be so much to figure out. It's going to be such a fun league. I can't wait. So hopefully these build ideas have been helpful, and if you like it, please hit the subscribe and like button. Help out the channel. Thank you very much. Have a good day.